Okay, there we go. Hello everybody. As everybody probably knows already, Blizzard made a new announcement. The new announcement was, for me, super exciting. By especially giving out the new Hearthstone format standard. And what I want to do in this video is talk about my thoughts on the new standard and on the new announcement that Blizzard just made. And the biggest thing that Blizzard announced in here was the new standard. Standard is going to be the new format for the competitive Hearthstone tournaments at least, and also for the World Championship. And what standard actually is, I will also come deeper to that later. What standard actually is that it makes it happen that expansions will move around and will only be 1 year viable in the tournament scene. And the cool thing about standard is, if you just really think of it, is that you know that every expansion will only be there for 1 year. So after that 1 year, there will come a new expansion that is viable, and like you will always create a new meta game by switching out the all the expansions, letting new expansions come out, letting others only be there for a short time. There will be strong cards going out, there will be new cards going in, there will be cards that never really work together will come together now and for some short time. But you can imagine that it will always switch around. And I think for Hearthstone, it's really important to always have a meta that switches around. As we are now, a bit in a state after the World Championship, we are having now already for 3 months not happening that much. We didn't really get our 2 or 3 months. The meta is after Reno Jackson, but had a pretty insane impact, I have to say. Blizzard did an amazing job by the League of Explorers. It went a bit like the meta. It was figured out. You face a lot of the standard decks. Decks are not really there's not like coming much creativity out of the new decks. Their decks are really standard. You're not getting surprised as much by new cards anymore. And I think it is really healthy by creating this that just by putting cards out, there will come a new meta game. Strong cards going out, maybe some bad cards are going out too, but it will get other cards get their space and might be viable in competitive. And I think that's a really cool thing Blizzard is doing here. As you already said, Standard promise a fresher Hearthstone experience. Standard will make for a more dynamic and balanced meta game. That is actually what I just tried to explain, kind of. The developers will have more freedom to design exciting new cards. That is, of course, also true. Once there are new, like some cards could just never go maybe into the game because they get covered really hard, or they're like really a kind of a copy to some cards that are out now. And also really important for the new standard format, it is a pretty good thing from Blizzard to make the standard format for the new players. A big issue what Hearthstone is getting by like Hearthstone exists now for 2 years, and I actually know I don't have it myself, but I know the pain of people that just don't know what expansion to buy anymore. There are so many. As a new player, you get a bit maybe overwhelmed by all the expansions, the options that you have with the cards, and I think it's really good from Blizzard. That like this really makes it more friendly for new players. If they want to play the standard format, you only or you need the expansions from what is then happening in that last year, and you can also just start with the expansion that comes out around your time. Once the time is over in the year, like then all your cards are there. So I think it is also really good for new players. I mean, it probably doesn't solve the issue, but it makes the issue for sure easier. Of course, there will also be, and that is cool. We're gonna have two different formats or game formats, and the other one will be Wild. And in Wild, you can just face every card that came out at any time. So in Wild, it's not gonna be the competitive format, so that is why I talk more about Standard. But in Wild, you're still able, if you still want to play your Doctor Boom guys, if you still want to play broken cards, or just playing old cards or old decks that you enjoyed so much, you can still do that in the Wild. The thing with Wild is you face other decks that also are able to play in wild, so you can still play with the cards that are not able to play anymore in the standard. And maybe an important thing is that you can also dust away your cards that are not available in standard. So you can choose to keep them to play your wild. You can also choose to go into just disenchant them and get new dust to get into your new card. So I think that's also a pretty cool thing to do. Yeah, then there is the ranking up, and that is actually more just about the standard, that it is like standard is gonna be the format. And not unimportant, there will be more deck slots, guys. I know this was a wish of a lot of people, and I'm also, of course, happy with it. I mean, I hate it. I think I have it a lot of times that I have to just put my decks away to make a new deck. But we will have 18 deck slots. There it will be. And yeah, that is that. And then what will be the standard format arriving after, I think after the spring, that shall be March or April. And what it will be, and that is actually a really important thing, the basic and classic cards will always be included in the standard format. So what Blizzard now, and what is a big challenge for Blizzard, is to really make the basic and classic cards from the classes really even to each other. They really have to balance it out, because if the basic or classic cards are from one class way stronger than the other, there will be an issue that these cards will always being played, that the new cards are not gonna have much impact in these decks at all, and that some classes are just always a bit weaker because they are not they are just always behind with the basic and classics. And once that happens, the expansions needs to deliver these new cards, and it's gonna be a way harder time to balance out Hearthstone. So Blizzard really has a challenge here by balancing the basic and classic, especially the basic and classics class cards. I will come to that a bit later, what this impact will be, once we are going to Hearthstone and see what basic classic cards there are out, and then my thoughts on that. The Blackrock Mountain, Grand Tournament, League of Exploders, and the new expansion. The new expansion that will also come out soon. It's gonna be a really big expansion. I heard it will be around 200 cards, so that's gonna be super, super amazing. And you see, like, Blackrock Mountain was probably the one that was here now or it was the line that once was here for the longest time. But also, once Blackrock Mountain exists for a year, Blackrock Mountain goes away. There will come out a new, probably kind of similar one, and we can use that one. So you see that it's not like these 6 combined, Blackrock Mountain goes out, a new one goes in, and you see that because Blackrock Mountain goes out, there are cards going out, so you already get a new meta, but there are also coming new cards in that might create new stuff, and there is a lot of more creativity into this. So yeah, I'm really super hyped about this, about the whole thing. The rest is you should probably check out the Hearthstone or the article out yourself once. It's not really. It's really it is really well written, so you will understand most of it. And I want to go shortly now into Hearthstone, and here we are. Let me put this away. And I want to talk shortly about what will happen for Hearthstone. So what the thing is, basic and classic will always be included. So if you look at the basic card, well, the basic, probably everybody knows that, but we can just also cover it here. If we just go to the classic cards, let's do that first. Classic cards will always be included. No, let's do basic first, my excuses. Basic cards will always be included. And what does it mean for Hearthstone? It means that if there are really strong basic cards, they will always be included in decks. And as you see, where, for example, and I think Druid has the most, it's gonna be the class Blizzard has to look into the most. Even I love the Druid. Druid always didn't need much. If you look at what basic cards they have, like the Innervate, they have the Wild Growth, they have the Savage Roar, they have the Swipe, and if you look at the classic cards, they also have the Wrath. They also have the Keeper. They also have the Druid of the Coil. They also have the Lore. They also have the Force of Nature. They have the War, but it's a bit less. But as you see, with the cards I just said here, Druid already can almost make a standard list out of the basic and classic set from Hearthstone. So if Blizzard doesn't really do much about that, Druid will always be there on the top, because Druid is considered being now one of the strongest decks. We can just go into the Druid deck I am playing recently, and this is not anything new. This is like a pretty standard list. And if you could just look at the list, and Ezra Drake is also, by the way, an classic card. You can see like how much cards like Boom will go out. Low Tap will go out. Shredder will go out. Shade will also go out. Yeah, came with Naxxramas. It will go out, but that's everything. If you compare this to the new classes, like for example, to all the other classes, you will notice that Druid is like really just has so many good basic and class cards that classic cards that it's gonna be for Druid. It's gonna be like a really big impact. And if we also look a bit at the classic cards around, I mean, if you just look a bit around, what always will be there, Unleash will be always there, Bow will be there for the Hunter, and every class has of course their own archetypes, and that has to stay. I mean, it's so important for mages to always have their Frostbolt, for example, or is Frostbolt? Frostbolt is also basic, right? Or yeah. Like, if a mage doesn't have their Frostbolt or their Fireball, like, the whole class archetype or the Frost Nova, like, the whole, like, it really is something mage. And, I mean, Druid is Innervate Wildgrowth, and Hunter is more, yeah, well, with the Beast. Every class has their own thing. Like, you cannot imagine a Rogue without a Backstab, or without a Deadly Poison, or maybe the Sap, and a Rockbiter is a Shaman thing. I mean, it just... and if the like the Voidwalker here, the Fiery War Axe for Warrior, like imagine like these cards always have to stay because they are so like close to the class in my opinion. But it's gonna be really hard to balance this out. And now my kind of my prediction for the new meta, because Naxxramas and Goblin of Gnomes will go out when Standard comes in. And what does that mean? So as you see, Druid getting rid of Poison Seeds, not a big impact. Not a really big impact. Avenge gone. Might be a thing, right? Avenge not being played. And if you just look a bit around, Dark Cultist maybe. If you just look at this, this is also going to be a really big thing. And that's not just because of Naxxramas, but you will also notice later that all demons are getting out of the game. And of course Despite, that is going to be a big thing. No Despites anymore for Warrior once the new system goes out. Zombie Chow gone, Creeper gone, Mad Scientist gone. You know how especially Mage and Hunter decks are made around Mad Scientist. So the impact of Mad Scientist being gone is really going to be a big impact for both Tempo and Freeze Mage, and for Hunter probably. Creeper being gone, Egg being gone, Shade being gone, Low Tap being gone, Belcher being gone. And if we are also shortly looking into the Goblins against Gnomes, this was the more mech expansion, as you see. Not really much like the class cards. It's really gonna hurt Mech Mage. It will never be played anymore because all the mech cards are just gonna be gone. So if you ever played a mech deck, enjoy your time you have now. They will all go out. Unstable Portal will be gone. Man, that is a big card being gone there. And I think the most exciting thing of people, from people is that the Secret Paladin, at least the version that is out now, is gonna be hurted so much. Like, we saw already Avenge being gone, but having here Minibot being gone, Cockhammer being gone, Muster being gone, and also Boom will be gone, Shredder will be gone. What do we even have more? We even have more. Creeper was gone. Like, all these cards that were all like Low Tap, Belcher were the 5-drops for them. So if you look at these cards, like, it's gonna hurt Secret Paladin insanely much. Secret Paladin, and Paladin actually needs to get really good cards to stay in this game. Because if Paladin will not get anything, and that sounds really weird, because I know people consider Paladin be the strongest class now. The nerf to Paladin is really insane in this new expansion, because there was a problem in Hearthstone where Paladin was not strong enough and they had to buff Paladin really well, and that's why Minibot came out and Mustard came out. If Paladin doesn't get any really new broken cards, it's gonna be at the same spot where Paladin will be almost being unplayable. So it sounds pretty weird, but I really expect him pretty strong Paladin buff with the new expansion or with the new 200 cards coming out. Because if you look at the Paladin cards in general, if we just look at the all set and we just look at the Paladin cards from the start, these are all not like, the reason why Secrets is being played is just because of Mistress Challenger, so that doesn't really count that in heart. We have the Equality, pretty good Paladin card. The rest is all meh. Eldor is probably a good card. I can say Eldor is a good one. True Silver is good. Const is good. Blessing is. Uldaman will stay there limited. Not a class card. Yeah, well, we have the Challenger now. But and Tyrion, of course, and maybe Leonance. But if you compare it to the Druid, Druid is, with the basic and classic set, way stronger than Paladin. So if they will not change anything, Druid will immediately already go over Paladin if Paladin doesn't get better cards out of the new basic and classic set or the new changes out of it. Druid will be over Paladin, for example. And yeah, if we just shortly looking on what decks are all being gone, like we have some like the Velen, for example, and Light Bomb, Vol'jin being gone, Tinker being gone for Rogue can be a big thing. Not really sure how big that will be. The kind of aggro Shaman decks are a bit less stronger, but it's not that, like if you look at these decks, it's just Crackle mainly what is gone for Shaman, so that's totally okay. Dark Bomb gone, Implosion gone, like some Mal'Ganis is gone, like there are gonna be really strong cards being gone. Also for Warlock, Shield Maiden might be a big miss for the Warrior, yeah. And yeah, here the rest, like it's mainly the mech cards. As we already mentioned, Zombie Chow was gone, and that is a bit what I am personally afraid of. Zombie Chow is gonna be gone, Belcher is gonna be gone, Healbot is being gone. And that will be like the problem before Next Rammus and Goblin vs Gnomes was it that aggro decks were really strong. So if there are not gonna be like really good replacements for Zombie Chow, Belcher, Healbot, there might be a really aggressive meta, and I would really, I really hope that Blizzard, I'm pretty sure Blizzard sees that problem too. So I really hope that, like these cards that were making the meta pretty healthy will also be there in the new expansion. That will make, for me, I think it's really necessary. And guys, he is gone, Dr. Boom. Bo is gonna miss Dr. Boom. Dr. Boom will also be going out of the set, and as you see, more legendary. But yeah, all by all, getting everything together, really happy about the new set. I get it, like Hearthstone, it was a bit like not happening for some time, so I am so happy by Blizzard announcing this. It makes things for them also easier. Meta will always switch around. They don't have meta issues where people get annoyed playing against Paladin or Patron or whatever is strong. Meta will switch around from time to time. I can't wait to test out the new expansion. I can't wait for the 200 new cards. I'm super hyped about them. So yeah, this was it for now, and let's all be hyped, guys, for the new standard format.